10 Historical Ancient Alien Artifacts. But first, in our Science Aliens Might Exist video, we asked you guys why you thought aliens might be out there. Thanks for leaving us this comment, Andy. We're going to take a look at some mysterious ancient alien artifacts that could point to signs of life on other planets. Number 10. The Paracas Skull. Throughout time, people have been known to elongate their skulls as a cultural tradition. They would bind their young child's head between two pieces of wood or cloth. First, you have to wonder why this was done, and if maybe they're trying to resemble some kind of creature they made contact with. The idea of head binding seems rather foreign to begin with. Maybe the practice was introduced to them by aliens to have humans look more like them? With theories aside, the Paracas skulls that were discovered in Peru seem to be the most baffling. They found quite a few strange skulls here that seem to suggest that they were actually born with that type of skull. They don't match other skulls from cranial deformation and don't have 3 plates in the skull but only 2. It also has a 25% larger cranial capacity than normal skulls found at that time. Mitochondrial DNA evidence would suggest that this skull is not 100% human either. Number 9. The Nkatherine Mechanism. Some artifacts have such an extremely advanced amount of knowledge that no one should have possessed them in ancient times. The amount of precision and comprehension of the cosmos shown from the Nkatherine Mechanism would suggest some type of extraterrestrial contact. This device could indicate exactly how the skies would look for decades, including lunar eclipses, tracing the path of Venus, as well as the phases of the moon and sun. It was found in a shipwreck off the coast of the Greek island of Nkatherine, and until it was discovered, no one even knew it existed. Made of bronze, this dates back 2,000 years ago. When the user of this device would turn a handle, something similar to the hand of a clock would point to a specific day of the year. With a complex system of gears, the user would be able to see on the back the cycle of the moon, the sun, and eclipses. Modern-day watchmakers had called this device simply genius, and it used technology that no one had ever used before. Number 8. Alien Coins. A few discoveries have been made on coins that would seem to depict what we would perceive as a UFO or flying saucer in modern times. Many UFO theorists claim that this is rather definitive proof of UFO sightings before modern-day portrayals of UFOs in the media. Here in this photo of a French coin that dates back to the 17th century, you see what really bears a resemblance to a flying saucer. Skeptics have casted doubt as usual and claim that this image is linked to the story in the Bible that discusses a wheel in the sky. But UFO enthusiasts claim that this was an ancient UFO sighting. Other coins like this one found in Egypt that was discovered during a house renovation has what looks like a gray alien on the front and a flying saucer on the back. Number 7. The Quinn Bhaiyya airplanes. These golden artifacts from the Quinn Bhaiyya civilization were found in Colombia and are believed to date back to 1000 BC. Many of these mysterious figures seem to represent what looks like aircraft or what we would consider to be an airplane in modern times. While many people are quick to dismiss these figures as simply being birds or bugs, the strange thing about them is that larger scale models of them are quite aerodynamic. German scientists actually built exact scale replica models that were radio-controlled devices. How did ancient Colombians understand in detail aerodynamics and design something like this? Number 6. Bizarre Mayan Artifacts. Mexican authorities were quite hesitant to release images of these bizarre artifacts to the public after they discovered them 80 years ago. We all know that Mayans seem to have a close relationship with the stars. They seemed quite advanced when it came to predicting astronomical events until they mysteriously vanished off the face of the planet. These extremely bizarre images seem to suggest some type of extraterrestrial contact. Some of the figures have long oval-shaped eyes, depict a form of spacecraft, and just seem downright chilling. It's believed that some of these were worn as masks. This photo here seems to display some type of animal inside an aircraft. By no means are these the only Mayan artifacts that seem a little bit bizarre. Number 5. Peruvian Alien Skull. In our Signs That Aliens Could Exist video, we showed you guys a mysterious hand that was recently discovered in Peru, but there was also a skull that was discovered inside the cave nearby. Could this possibly be physical evidence of an extraterrestrial being? It appears to have an elongated skull with a tiny mouth and eyes like something we've never seen before. Biologists have determined without a doubt that there is nothing human about this. Many will be reluctant to accept this as any type of proof, but when you take a look at the base of the head, it looks as if you can see the skin peeling off. Number 4. Hieroglyphics Helicopter. Located on the ceiling of a 3,000-year-old temple in the city of Abydos in Egypt, dedicated to the god Seth, you'll come across an extremely mysterious hieroglyphic. It appears to depict modern-day technology such as a helicopter that you would see here, and what looks like a fighter jet to the right. This has led many to believe that Egypt was possibly visited by time travelers or even made contact with a race of beings capable of such technology. It's true that Egyptians used thousands of symbols in hieroglyphics, and this could merely be a coincidence. But you can't deny the fact that it looks like modern-day machinery. You can clearly make out the rotors and the tail fin on the back of the helicopter. This could also suggest the possibility that beings with advanced technology that could fly made contact and possibly helped Egypt construct some of the wonders we know of today. Number 3. 20,000-year-old nanospiral. Prospectors were searching for gold in the Ural Mountains of Russia when they came across an unbelievable discovery. Not only was it extremely bizarre to find something like this, the nanospirals were also made of a rare metal known as tungsten. Scientists determined that it had to have been there at least 20,000 years due to the amount of soil that was on top of it. You talk to anyone at NASA and they'll tell you that tungsten is important due to the high melting point, higher than any other metal. This metal is tough enough to where it can withstand high temperatures, often associated with space travel. What was this spiral-shaped object doing here? Number 2. The Berlin Gold Hat. This is the best preserved conical golden hat from the Bronze Age. It dates back to 1000 BC. A few were found in Germany and one in France. It seemed to be some type of astronomical cult hat. Researchers closely studied the hat and realized that they possessed highly complex mathematical predictions and calculated the cycles of the sun and moon. It also seemed to act as some type of calendar. This suggests a high level of intelligence, greater than we imagined people for this time. Some believe that the thin sheet of gold it's made of and the conical shape would be able to pick up some type of communication signal. Its bizarre shape and precise calculations would seem to point at making contact with some people from out of this world. Or maybe they wore these to keep aliens from reading their minds? Who knows? Number 1. Metal books. This is one of the Dead Sea Scrolls that were discovered in Israel, but only with a slight difference. It's actually made of copper, whereas the other ones were written on papyrus. The document is 99% copper and only 1% tin. It's not just in Hebrew, but also in Greek and Aramaic. It discusses over 64 locations where treasure is located. The fact that it was written in metal, like copper metal, would almost seem to suggest that it was some type of extraterrestrial book of some sort. Most of the vocabulary was completely different from what other people saw in literature at that time. Other books like we see here were found in Jordan, which talk about powers that seem to be from out of this world. You have to wonder why ancient cultures would begin to write on metal at this time in history, around the 1st century BC.